Hey guys, my name is Isaiah. I'm a six-figure shooter. My wife and I decided to create the series another documented journey as we ascend a ladder towards financial freedom. So I wanted to make a video detailing my experience of doing free shipping over the last four-ish, five-ish months, and kind of explain the key indicators that I should have noticed along the way that would have told me that this model isn't actually as profitable for me as I thought it was. So I'm about to turn on my screen share real quick and show you guys what I was working with. So screen recording. Record my full screen. All right. So I don't know specifically when I started doing free shipping, but from what I can see on my impressions chart, you see how there is dropping down here. The reason why it's dropping, this is by the way August to October 28th. The reason why it's dropping like this is my store was around like 2,800 items at this point, and it starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. It goes to like 2,700, 2,600 because I was getting ready to have my kid and I wasn't able to list as consistently as I was beforehand. So once I got to about September, I had this brilliant idea of, hey, what if I start adding free shipping to my model? Because I did free shipping back in the day when I first started on eBay, but I haven't tried free shipping since I was sorry, my daughter's like moving a lot. But I haven't tried free shipping since I basically started eBay, and I was like, I have so many more skills now than I had back then, so maybe I'll be able to do a free shipping model and be highly successful. So, as we can see right here around September 7th or so, I have this big spike in impressions. Compared to the previous day, it's almost double. And then it continues to spike up, and then I have this new normal. Even though my store is still shrinking during this period of time, my impressions that are going into the store are still relatively high. Because back here, like I have 2,800 items, but as we get closer and closer to this point, we're getting closer to about 2,100 to 2,000 items in the store. So this is a difference of about 800, 900 items. I'm still getting the same amount of impressions as last time. Now, let me show you guys a little bit of data. This was my best month of last year, if I am not mistaken. Actually, I think there's one other month. This is my best month where I was charging shipping and not doing auctions. There was another month in here where I did like 18.9 or 19.1, but I'm not including that month because that month was an auction only month, while this month was like a regular business model essentially. But as you can see, I sold about 671 items. My ASP was around $27, and I received about $9,300 from eBay as a payout after I paid my eBay fees, shipping costs, store subscription, so on and so forth. Right now, so this is going to be our standard that we're going to use to look at the other data sets. When we look at August, things were down a little bit. My ASP was down. However, my net sales is still higher than what my selling cost was by about almost $1,000. We're going to transition over to in September where I started doing the free shipping, and now the gap between my selling costs and my net sales is much smaller, and actually my net sales are lower than my selling costs. So I spent more money on getting stuff sent out to people than I actually received on the platform. And you can also notice from August to September, I had a significant drop in ASP. I went down to 2267 compared to the 2538 beforehand. However, we are starting to see that I'm selling more items, which is a good thing. So I'm moving more items, but not necessarily making more money. And this should have been the first flag, but I thought that it was just a new thing. Who really cares? Next, after that, in October, I'm at a $19.99 ASP. So my ASP has dropped substantially. And look at the difference in selling costs versus net sales. Now I'm at $6,500 in net sales, paying almost $10,000 a month in selling costs, and I sold way more items. I have 831 items sold compared to 668. So I'm selling almost 200 more items, but because of the difference in ASP and me now subsidizing all of the shipping costs for the customer, I'm not actually making more money. During this time, I thought, well, I'm liquidating a lot of my old inventory. This is allowing me to be able to sell stuff from 2021, 2022, early 2023. So all of those old items, I'm moving them out. So it must mean that this model is working. I just have to get enough items on the front end of my store to make up for the money that I'm losing on the back end of my store. Didn't work out that way though. And also, here's the other thing. Like I did, you see, when you look at September, in September I did less in sales than I did in August. So maybe that's why my net sales is higher, right? But over here in October, my sales are higher than they were in August, but I make like what is that 2,000 fewer dollars? Almost 2,000 less dollars due to the smart the drop in ASP and me subsidizing all of the shipping costs for the customer. So yes, you will sell substantially more items by offering free shipping. As you can see, my sales increased by 20% on top of a 6% increase already. So like that's a substantial increase in the amount of items I'm moving, but I'm not actually making even close to more money. So now we get into November where I'm again selling way more items than I was selling before. The ASP has rebounded very slightly, but one, my selling costs are still higher than what my net sales total is, and I'm not making nearly as much money as I was making in my peak months of July. Like not even close. And even though my sales are relatively similar to what they were back then, even and I'm selling 200 extra items per month. We move over to December, which was it felt like one of my worst months of the year, but it didn't seem to actually be the case. I did about 15.4K in December, but my ASP did rise a little bit, probably because I was selling more boots and stuff like that. But my net sales was around 7,100, still lower than my selling cost, better than some of the previous months where I was at 6,500. However, it's still just wait till I get to January. It's ridiculous. So this is where I finally made the switch, and I can actually filter this to show the same period from last year. One, my net sales were down by 40% compared to this 12 days before. But let me generate this report and change it a little bit for you guys. This is what made it click for me. Here we go. So my sales were up by 13%. My quantity sold was up by 70%, but my net sales was down by 7%. So I sold 70% more items and made 7% less money than I made last year. As you guys saw a second ago, it was also less money than I made in the from the late December months as well, from late December. So and my ASP has dropped by 33%. So I'm selling a lot of stuff, but I'm not actually making more money. And I decided to, okay, at this point, I need to switch this because the data this whole time has been telling me, yes, you're selling more stuff, but you're not actually making more money, dude. Like you would have been better off trying to get the store back to this point where you're doing almost $10,000 in cash flow deposited to you. And then finally, I made a switch over the last 7 days or so, and my sales fell off a cliff. Things were really, really bad. As you can see, my quantity sold dropped substantially, but my ASP has rose by almost 29% just by me adding back in that shipping total. And on top of that, like my net sales, like I think this ends up being about $13 or so per sale that I'm receiving. And this is still with me liquidating some inventory. This is my sales being slower. This is with a lot of things that are dragging this number down. But for the first time, my net sales and my selling costs are like my net sales are higher than what my selling cost is. So what this is telling me is if I continue to do this, if I continue with on this trajectory, I should be able to get back to 500 sales a day. Because in the last several days, I've been going back to about 16, 17, 18 sales a day, which I am fine with. So I could see my ASP rising from 25 to 26, 27, 28. And once I get to about 32, 31, 32, I should be at a $15 profit per item, which gives me the ability to make so much more money. So as a final thing, I'm about to pull up this calculator. This calculator is the eBay fee calculator. You just type in eBay fees calculator and it'll pull this one up. This is the one that I use due to its accuracy. People use other calculators as well, but looking at my old numbers, I was making about $7 profit per item. Sold price is how much you're selling the item for. Shipping charged is the amount that I'm charging the customer for shipping. This is blank because I didn't charge anything. This is your cost of goods, and then this would be how much it's costing you to print your label. And as you can see, I was making a little bit under $8 profit per item at my peak. There were times, like if we dropped this down to like $18, like how we saw when it was at $19.99, I was making $5 profit per item. It's really, really difficult to run this business making $5 profit per item. So, but if we go back to this 2109 and I simply add a small shipping charge, I immediately jump from about $8 profit to $13.04 immediately, which means that if I'm selling 150 items a week, then I get $1,900 profit compared to $1,100 profit. So that small change, if I can maintain the quantity sold, gives me a $700 a week raise, which is beautiful. Like that puts us in a whole different position. And I've been trying to figure out what can we do to get out of this scenario where our expenses and our income is essentially the same? But by doing this, simply by increasing our ASP by $6, we can rapidly increase our profit per item. And now I'm no longer subsidizing the return labels. I'm no longer subsidizing the shipping charges for the customer when it comes to the free shipping model I was running previously. And then if I can push this ASP up even higher, get it up to $24, then I'll be making around $2,300 per week profit. And in cash flow received, I'd be getting around $2,800, which puts us in a very, very, very strong position compared to what we were previously. So that's everything I got, honestly. Like that was my experience of going from I am subsidizing shipping for the customer and losing money for months and months and months, to let me try to have the customers take some of that shipping back again and see if I can actually make some significant money. So we'll see how this continues to play out over the coming weeks or months, and hopefully we're making substantially more money in the future than we are today. So greatly appreciate y'all. Hope we provided some value to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.